Are you faster than an S wave? You might be if you have a head start. I'm Tanya Hall for ZDNet, and joining me is Josh Bashioum. He is the founder and principal investigator at Early Warning Labs. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
What kind of work do you do at Early Warning Labs?
Yeah, so I'm actually the founder and also more interesting, the principal investigator on our federal partnership with the U.S. Geological Survey.
And how does so what exactly work do you do? What does your software do?
Yeah, so Early Warning Labs, our core focus is to take the earthquake early warning information from the U.S. Geological Survey and be the last mile bridge, right? To actually deliver that earthquake early warning to end users and also commercial users, right? And then allow them to do something with it, whether it's a notification on the mobile application or, controlling elevators and stopping them or playing alerts through fire alarms. That's ultimately what we were tasked to do and to work with the USGS on creating that actual delivery platform. And that's what we've been doing the last 3 years.
How does the technology work exactly? And how do you detect, not predict, but to detect when an earthquake is taking place?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's early detection, right? We still can't predict earthquakes, as cool as that would be and incredible as that would be. We just can't do that yet. So early detection ultimately is what it is. So there are hundreds of these sensors across the West Coast. I think the last time they did the math was almost 900 sensors. And what those are doing is they're actively looking for an earthquake. Okay, so what they're listening for are the P waves. So when an earthquake happens, it emits both P waves and S waves. And why that's good for earthquake early warning is the P waves travel faster than the S waves. And that's good news because P waves typically don't cause damage, right? The S waves, the slower moving S waves, are what creates that serious level of shaking and the risk to life and property. So the USGS sensor network that they built out along with their other partners, Caltech, Berkeley, University of Washington, University of Oregon, they have those sensors and they're just actively listening for those P waves. And as soon as you have to have three sensors, detect the P wave, they're able to triangulate where the earthquake is. They can forecast how big the earthquake is, if it's growing, where it's growing, if it's a fault rupture or just a single point location. They know how deep it is, and they track what time that occurred. So once they get that data, right, and this is all within just a few seconds, 2 to 5 seconds, they send that data to Early Warning Labs. And what we do is we then look at where all of our prospective users are. So whether they're on the mobile application, right, or they are a commercial user, a high-rise tower, a fire station, we forecast how bad the shaking is going to be at their location. So that's what's called the modified Mercalli intensity scale, 1 to 10. So we can actually forecast with very accurate modeling from Caltech and Berkeley that they've developed over 30 years of research in some cases. And we can tell an end user, okay, you have 35 seconds until a level of 1 to 10 shaking. So extreme shaking, right? Mid, very high shaking, right? 8 or 9. Then we can do something with that, right? So, okay, it's big enough. Let's play an audible alert, and then let's do something. Let's open the fire station doors of the fire station and tell the firefighters to pull the trucks out so they don't get stuck inside like they did at Northridge. So that's kind of ultimately tip to tail how they detect it, and then what we do with it.
How much time exactly then between the P wave and the S wave? What's that warning time look like?
So the way that we like to explain it is it's post earthquake, pre shaking. Okay, so typically P waves, S waves roughly are traveling at the speed of sound. Okay, so we're detecting and then transmitting at the speed of light. So that's how we're able to get that nice big chunk of warning time. And of course, the P waves are traveling a little bit faster than the S waves, so we get another chunk of warning time there. So best case scenario here in California, 90 seconds of warning. Okay. Worst case scenario, if you're right on top of the earthquake, which is what's called the blind zone, and it's a shallow earthquake, you could have no warning, right? So it can be anywhere from 0 to 90 seconds. It just totally varies per event.
I was in Napa in August of 2014 when we
Oh,
had a
wow.
6 point earthquake. And there's a point where it's happening, but your OODA loop is trying to catch up and process, what you're experiencing. And so my question is, how how do you help people who have your software and have your service to get past that, because that's valuable seconds that are going by, and what they really need to do is respond and not think about it. So how do you help them get to that point?
Yeah. And that's a great observation, right? Our natural instinct is to like freeze and make a stupid face, right? So if we're able to, even, let's say worst case scenario, we get someone 5 seconds of warning, right? It only takes someone a couple seconds to get into a safe spot under a sturdy piece of furniture, right? To drop, cover, and hold on. That's the best thing they can do. That cuts their risk of an injury by over 50%, right? Injury or death by drop, covering, and holding on. So what we do is we go a step further, right? So not just giving you that early warning on the mobile application, it'll tell you what to do, right? Real time. So when you get the push notification and you hear the audio, you swipe it. And if it's a big enough earthquake, we'll give you the graphic that'll just rotate through and say drop, cover, hold on. Same thing with the commercial integration. So the high-rise condo towers, the office buildings that we're in, we play that audible alert, right? Earthquake, 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 drop, cover, hold on. So we try to kind of override that natural instinct to freak out, right? And sort of freeze and not know what to do. And the other piece of this really is training. So some introductory training, onboarding on a mobile application to explain to people what they should do, what the limitations are. And also with commercial integrations, the training is really important to residents of condo towers, to employees. So they're familiar and they kind of have a little bit of muscle memory to know what to do too.
So this is you have a consumer application and a commercial application. I want to talk, so on the consumer application, it's
Mhm.
available on iOS. Is it available on Android? And if not, I don't think it is yet. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have an iOS application. We haven't opened it up to the masses as of yet, but that target is before the end of the year, hopefully late summer, by the end of the year. And we're going to also have at that time of release a Android version available. So the iOS version is in the App Store. People can download it. They can sign up inside the app to get on the pre-release list, right? To get the early notification that it's going to be available, or they can sign up on the website for that as well.
Talk about the technology and how it works in a consumer in a excuse me commercial application.
Yeah. So just like with a mobile application where we need to know the end user's location, right? So we do that through the location services on the phone. It's very important because that can really affect the countdown time by tens of seconds and their level of shaking calculation by some significant margin. Same thing goes with the commercial solution. So we need to know the lat long of where the hardware that we have installed is. And that's how we're able to know how bad the shaking is going to be at a commercial facility, along with the mobile devices too, knowing where they're at.
And is this deployed? You mentioned fire department and opening the gates for the fire department. Is this employed in any kind of smart city situation where you are helping fire departments or transit systems or anything like that?
Yeah, so we're working with the County of LA. We have it deployed with LA Metro. They're an active user. They've been live for almost over 2 years now. And that integration is connected to their operations center. So we forecast the intensity, the shaking for them and the LA area, and we'll play a notification if it's over a dangerous threshold that we've already worked with them to set. And in the event that that happens, the controllers in the operations center will hear the audible notification, and they will actively set forward to slow and stop all the trains in LA, and then themselves will get to a safe cover underneath their desks, which is pretty cool. And we're working with a bunch of the other cities here in Southern California and throughout California, for that matter, to integrate to their city halls, their libraries, their fire stations, to be able to get this alert out, right, and do something really good with it to protect the residents.
What are your future deployment plans, and do you have any obstacles to deploy?
That's a good question. There's a lot of obstacles, right? So with mobile alerting, there's a lot of challenges with that. So our mobile application is a best effort solution. There's some challenges with push notification. We can't use SMS. There's some issues with WIA that need to be worked out to be able to do sort of mass notification on mobile devices. There's a lot of bottlenecks, a lot of issues with that. So those are still being addressed and still being worked on, and the other partners in this process are working on that. The USGS is actively trying to address those issues and working really hard on it and doing a great job. For the commercial solution, educating people and you talk to people and discussions like this are so important because people really don't know this is available, right? This has been in I'm not going to say stealth mode, but this has been kind of in a research and development phase for quite a long time. And now kind of the public education is sort of on the forefront of this. So there's actually going to start being some PSAs, some educational materials are going to start going out to residents here in California so they can start to become familiar with this. And discussions like this, I have to applaud you. Thank you so much for having us on because this is helping get the word out.
Well, I think it's certainly a benefit to all humans everywhere as far as keeping us safe. And I love that it's exciting. I mean, any type of warning that we can get to get protected and get shelter would be great. I appreciate you joining me for an interview, Josh. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to get the app or just find out more about the work that you're doing, how can they do that?
Yeah, so they can follow us on Twitter. It's at Early Warning Lab, singular, Early Warning Lab. Or they can go to our website, earlywarninglabs.com. And if they have any direct inquiries, they can send that to info@earlywarninglabs.com.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Josh. And you know what?
Yeah,
If you want to follow me, you can, just like Josh. Uh,
absolutely.
you can find my interviews right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or maybe go to my website at tanyahall.net. I have links to all my social platforms. And if you want to chat, I'd love to hear from you. Find me on Twitter at Tanya Hall Radio. Thanks for watching.